Hello friend, my name is Doombabe, and today we are doing part 3 of Magic the Gathering formats, which is Arch Enemy, Plane Chase, and Prismatic. Arch Enemy is a casual format that splits players up into two teams. One team is composed of multiple people, usually about 3, and the other team is just one person all on their lonesome, and that one person on his or her own is called the Arch Enemy, who uses a supplemental deck alongside with their main one. The supplemental deck is composed of oversized cards known as schemes, which are revealed one at a time during the Arch Enemy's pre-combat main phase, and they usually add some sort of effect in the Arch Enemy's favor, such as giving them extra creatures or pitting the players of the opposing team against each other. While the revealing of the scheme doesn't use the stack, the ability that triggers off of that does. Also, schemes have no mana cost, are not permanents, cannot be cast as spells, only exist in the command zone, have no subtype, and are always colorless. In order to continue evening out the playing field, the Arch Enemy also starts out at 40 life, chooses to mulligan first, takes the turn first, and does not skip their draw step when the game starts. Similar to Two-Headed Giant, the Arch Enemy's creatures do not attack the team as a whole, but attacks the individual player. And the team, like in Two-Headed Giant, has to work together to take out the Arch Enemy, meaning that they take their turns together and can discuss strategy in any way as long as it is not written. However, if the team cannot agree on a particular action, then the action is decided by the primary player, and the primary player is the player from the team's perspective that is sitting on the far right. Unlike Two-Headed Giant though, if someone on the team of multiple people were to just leave the game, either they lost or they had to leave, the game does continue on without them. Because the goal of the game for the Arch Enemy is to take out the opposing team as a whole, and the goal for the team is to take out the Arch Enemy, obviously. Next up is Prismatic, which is another Magic the Gathering online format that made its way into real cardboard Magic. Prismatic is a pretty easy format to get a grip on. You have a deck that is of at least 250 cards, and of those 250 cards, you need to have at least 20 cards of each color in the deck. It's a legacy format game, meaning that you can use any set that you want, including the promotional cards. However, it has a pretty beefy banned list of like 85 cards or something. Finally, Plane Chase is a totally different type of format. You play with a special deck that is composed of at least 10 oversized cards known as planes that accompany your main deck. As you can probably imagine, these cards represent a cannon plane, and each has their own effect. There's the effect that triggers when you planeswalk to it or away from it, and then there's the chaos effect, which is that little swirly symbol on the bottom. You also have a planar die, which is how you dictate when to move to a new plane or activate the chaos effect. It's a 6-sided die that has 4 blank sides and 2 sides with the special symbol on it. One symbol is the planeswalker symbol, which will trigger the planeswalking ability. And what that means is you take the plane that you are currently on, that's on the top of your deck, you move it to the bottom, and then you reveal the next plane. The last symbol is the chaos symbol, which triggers the chaos ability of whatever plane that you're on. If you get one of the blank sides, nothing happens. If you're playing in the recommended group size of 3 to 6 players, the game goes in clockwise order, meaning once your turn is done, the person to your left is the person who goes next. If a player were to leave for whatever reason, such as they lost or they needed to leave, then the person to their left takes control of their plane just before they exit the game. And then once that player is officially out of the game, then the player in control of that plane takes that plane, puts it on the bottom of their deck, and then reveals their plane to put it into effect. The reason for this is because there are some planes that have effects that don't trigger when you get to the plane, but they trigger when you planeswalk away, such as Sarah's Sanctum. So the person to the left keeps control of that plane just long enough to properly put that effect on the stack. Other than that, the only thing you need to know is that everyone gets one free mulligan, and the person that goes first doesn't skip his or her draw step at the beginning of the game. So that's it for part 3 of Magic the Gathering formats. I figured since 3 videos in a row I chose what formats I wanted to cover, that I would leave it up to you guys. So you guys need to tell me what you want. Do you want me to talk about Kaleidoscope, Team, Unified, Constructed, Vanguard? Don't say Tiny Leaders, don't say Tiny Leaders, don't say Tiny Leaders. We want Tiny Leaders. Anyways, happy unbirthday, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Remember when the Wall Street Journal posted an article about the live-action Legend of Zelda series that was supposed to go on Netflix? Without posting any sources or explaining where they got the information? Well, I hope you weren't too excited because...